Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Rolex Explorer 40 in stainless steel, reference 224270. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the history of the Explorer, then tell you about where this Explorer stands in the lineup of other similar Explorers, then talk to you about the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with when did the Explorer 1 first come out? It came out in 1953, which is over 70 years ago. In fact, 2023 would have been the 70th anniversary of the Explorer, and therefore they created this Explorer 40 to commemorate that. Now, I actually would have thought they would have done something even bigger to commemorate it, but at least they did this piece, which is what you see in front of you. Okay, now the Explorer 1, it really got its claim to fame is that Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, the two people that were first to climb Mount Everest, wore an actual Explorer when they climbed it. And that just goes to show you how robust and accurate these watches are, that the first time humans had ever climbed the highest peak in the earth, they actually wore a Rolex. Now, if you could imagine, every little ounce that you have on your body is going to be quite torturous to carry up to the highest peak of the earth. So they wanted to make sure that they carried just enough stuff and just the right items and nothing more and nothing less than what they actually needed. And of course they need time to tell what time it is, so they wore a Rolex Explorer, and hence the name Explorer. It makes total sense. The Explorer is going to the top of the earth, actually the highest point on earth, in fact. Okay, and so that's where it got its claim to fame. And over the years there's been many iterations of it, as in small evolutions of it, but the basic has remained the same. It has this same basic look right here, and the Explorer is a very simple watch. It's actually only time only. It's not even time and date, so just literally time only. And you might think, well, why is that? Well, one of the things is that with more complication cause is possible for the watch to not be as it possibly could break down, and the more complicated a watch is, and also it's heavier. I'm not really exactly sure, to be honest, why they opted for no date, but on the Explorer they just put really just time only. Maybe because when you're exploring, you're not worrying about the date. Maybe you're not thinking, oh, it's today the 15th, is it the tax day, is it the 29th, my birthday, or my girlfriend's, whatever. I guess when you're exploring, you not really look at the date. Well, anyways, I'm not really sure. But the point is, there is no date on the Explorer. It is time only. 3 hands, hour, minute, second. And it's always been that way. It probably will always stay that way. If you want a more complicated watch, they make plenty of complicated watches, just not the Explorer. Okay, so the Explorer is a very simple watch, but it has this classic 369. And that's a little bit about the history. Now, let's talk about where this watch stands in the lineup of other Explorers. Okay, now the Explorer, when it came out to this modern 6-digit reference number, this reference I told you at the beginning was 224270. When they first came out, it was 114270, and that's a 6-digit reference. That came out, I think, in mid 2000s, so it's been almost 20 years. Now, it looked more or less like what you see here, but back then it was 39 millimeters. Start with this. When the Explorer first came out, it started with 36 millimeters. And then it changed to 39 millimeters. And then actually as early as I think around 5 years ago, like 2000 or so, 4 years ago, it changed back to Explorer 36. So it was 36 millimeter, back to the small size. And then on the 70th anniversary, boom, they came out with the 40. The first time it's been in 40. Before it was always small, 36, and then it went to 39, then it went back to 36, and here we are at 40 again. So they actually have both the 36 and the 40. What you're looking at is the larger version right here, 40. And I think you might wonder, well, why are they doing all this changing back and forth? Be honest, I'm not really sure, but 40 is a very good size. So I'm not going to complain. I think they're probably going to stick with 40 for quite some time. They have a small size and a large size. Some people have small wrists, so they can go the smaller Explorer 36 and some people have larger wrists, so they're going to go with the larger one that you see in front of you. Okay, and that's a little bit about the where this watch stands in the lineup. And they only used to make the Explorer only in stainless steel for the longest time. But recently, I want to say like 4 years ago, around 2000, they actually released it in steel and gold, so for the first time, which is quite a nice look to it as well. Uh, but they have not done any other variations. Now you might have thought like, do they make a white version or a gold version? No, they on the Explorer they stayed relatively uh, very calm on it. It's always been stainless steel on a black dial, and that's it. The most basic, simple, sports. It's actually it's a base model of the sports line that Rolex has, or the professional line. It's the most basic, and it's also the cheapest. Not by much, but it is. Okay? Uh, and it makes sense because there's no complication on it. That doesn't mean it's the worst. It's still a very good looking watch. It has this sort of retro look on it, but I'm just telling you that's where this watch stands in the lineup. There's very few options when it comes to Explorer. So, and I guess since it's supposed to be a tool watch, you're supposedly supposed to wear this doing, exploring type activities, then you don't really need to have a bunch of complications. You want the watch to be very legible, uh, guaranteed to work, and you don't have to fuss around with the date. So there you have it. It's an Explorer 40. Okay, that's where this watch stands in the lineup. This is the newer version, and I want to go through each little part and tell you how it's a little bit different than it was before. So let's start with the case. Now the case I just told you is 40 millimeters. That's definitely different. It's the first time that Rolex has come out with a 40 millimeter case on an Explorer. They were before 36, 39, back to 36. Now they are 40. So, and I believe they'll stay here. So the 40 means that from the thumb to my index finger, 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock position, longest distance across the bezel, that's 40 millimeters. Very good size. I think it's going to fit almost all guys. With these two sizes, it's pretty much a guarantee to fit everybody. Unless actually, I guess if you got a big wrist, like maybe 8-inch wrist or something, then this is probably gonna be too small. But anyways, okay, that's 40 millimeters. Now the case itself is not very thick as a result because there's no date. So you look at it, it's like I think it's around 11 millimeters. Easily can fit under your suit cuff if you're wearing one, or whatever cuff you're wearing. Okay. All right, that's the case, and of course, just like pretty much all Rolexes, it's a monoblock middle case with a screw-down case back and winding crown. It just means it's made of steel. It's very robust. As long as you keep this crown screwed, it's gonna not let in any water or air. So that's a good thing. Okay, that is the case. Now let's move on to the bezel. Now the bezel only comes in this one option, so not a whole lot to talk about. It's a smooth dome bezel. And why do they use that? As opposed to, for example, like the fluted bezel. Well, the fluted bezel is made of white gold. This is made of stainless steel, 904 or 904L steel. Is that what it is? I think. Yeah, the best steel that you can basically use. It allows the watch to be much more robust because the bezel is smooth. It's made of steel and it's not going to dent. And then it also looks very nice. This is an Explorer watch. It's supposed to have sort of a rugged look to it, but at the same time keeping perfect harmony with Explorer's iconic heritage. So there you have it. That's what you have, the bezel here. And anyways, there's no other option. So yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the dial. Now you might at first just say, well, you might be like whatever about the dial, but let me just tell you a few things. Number one, the Explorer this 369 is classic. They've been doing it for a very long time, and it is none there a lot of I don't think that any other watches does this 369, and then they have index, and then all this is a triangle at the top. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, it makes the watch very easily legible at night, and also legible in either direction, because you might be showing your watch to somebody or looking at it when you're in an awkward position at nighttime, and you can easily see it. Because if it just had hash marks, you could, let's say your arm was in a funny position, you might not be able to tell what time it is, or you're showing the watch to somebody else for them to read the time for you, might not be able to tell. So they put it as very legible. They put very simple shapes. Everybody knows a triangle, a rectangle, 369, and so it's very legible. Okay, and the luminescents are filled with long emitting blue glow. So if you shine the light at it like this, and then you go into darkness, this is how it's going to look. There's a very beautiful blue hue to it, or light to it. Okay, all right. So that's the dial, And there, by the way, there's no other dial option. It's not like there's blue, gray, whatever. No, they only have in black. That's it. So yeah, even on the stainless steel or the two-tone version, there's only black. So okay, let's talk about the bracelet. Now the bracelet is your Oyster bracelet. Again, they only have one option on the bracelet. Do not give you several options. Like you might think, oh, I could take a Jubilee, I could take an Oyster Flex. No, you can't do that. That's all you get. Just the regular Oyster, which is not a bad thing. Which I assume they might actually. Who knows? They might release the Explorer in a different bracelet combination. Who knows? But as of now, that's all. It's a very clean look. I can't say it's. I like it. Okay. Anyways, that's the bracelet. Now the bracelet also. The good thing about this bracelet is that it has a comfort extension, which allows it to extend or contract 5 millimeters without the use of any tools. So, for example, if it's very cold outside, your hand kind of shrinks, and you use it on the smallest setting. But let's say it's very hot outside, you're sweating, and your hand is full or big at the moment, then you can expand it to add another 5 millimeters without the use of any tools. So it's a very handy feature. I wish more watchmaker or watch companies did that with their watches. Okay, let's move on to the movement here. Now the movement is also changed, by the way. So the things that have changed in the old model and this model is, one, the size has changed, but two, the movement has also changed. Now the movement here is a 3230 movement. It has a power reserve of 70 hours. I believe the old movement was a 3130 and it had a smaller power reserve. So it's more accurate, it has a longer power reserve, and it also has a different finish, that's for sure, because I've seen the finish on the new movements. They look modern, like Audemars Piguet movements. Okay, let's time to try it on. Okay, now I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. I have a 7.5 inch wrist, and as you can see, the watch looks very nice on me. What are my thoughts? My thoughts are that this is a very nice base model Rolex. It's the cheapest of the professional line that you can get. Cheapest doesn't mean worst. It's still a very beautiful watch. It's very robust. It can be used in many situations. Like if you actually use it as a tool watch, if you are, I don't know, camping in the wilderness or, exploring, hiking, trekking, whatever you're doing, you could definitely wear this watch and it would not look out of place, because yes, it is a Rolex, but it's a very rugged Rolex, and it can take a beating, and you could even go to Mount Everest if you wanted it to. I'm sure if the ones that came out 70 years ago could go, then this one could go as well. But at any rate, yeah, it's quite nice. Now, and for the price point, it's not trading at much above retail at all, just a little bit. As most professional Rolexes are, at least as of the moment, but it's not a huge amount. It's a small amount. Okay, anyways, look, if you want to buy this watch, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.